All right, well, we're out in the woods again today. I think the last video I made, we posted a couple of weeks ago, was setting out some trail cameras. It was an evening. We put out the 4 new Simmons Trail Cams that I had. And what you see here is, it's a Wild Game Innovations, I think. Is that the brand this is?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure. Okay,
I got my nephews with me again today. And
hello.
the same night we put out those 4 brand new Simmons, we put out the nephew's Wild Game Innovations camera. And we've got it behind my house on kind of a junk pile. It's a sinkhole, and that's where I typically dump my when I get a deer or something, dump the carcass and stuff there in that hole. So we put his camera out a couple of weeks ago, pointing it on that pile of bones and stuff, and got some really cool pictures. And I'll show you those. I'll see if I can get those pictures to upload right now. One of the pictures looks like a black coyote down in the hole with another coyote out here in front, and then a couple of pictures are of a white hawk. It's a red-tailed hawk that I saw it a couple of years ago. I think while it was a very young bird, because I saw the looked like the parents with this little white one, but it's been a year or two since I've seen it in the backyard here. But sure enough, it looks like he hung around. So I'll put those pictures on here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the other property where we put the 4 Simmons trail cameras, and it's been about 2 weeks, and we're going to pull those cards, and we'll leave those cameras out, pull those cards and see what's on there. Okay, so we walked all the way to the back of the place. We came up this trail coming this way, and we could follow the trail on, but our first camera, or actually the camera that's at the back of the property, is over here. So it looks like it got bumped sideways. So I don't know if that was some animal bumped into it or what, but we'll you can see how kind of cockeyed it is. We'll have to check those little movies out and see what that looks like. We'll go. We're going to pull this one, and I'll show you where we're going to place it. All right. Well, we just took the camera off of that little tree there, and we're walking back out here, and we're walking back out to the main trail here, and one of the fellows with better eyes than me noticed that
watch out for that.
There's a scrape and a rub right there. So kind of curious. This is well, it's about 2 days before Christmas, so that's a little bit old, but kind of interesting. Now I'll tell you where we're going to put this camera. We're going to go back out to the main trail here, and it's kind of wet in through here. It's kind of wet, but we noticed this hillside has got a lot of use, a lot of hoof prints up on that hillside. So we're going to put that camera right in that little jumble of stuff. Right. Yeah, he's going to show you.
You made it.
Right here. We're going to put it right there, and we're going to face it towards the trail. Okay, that's where we set it up, right there, and it's kind of facing on. Yeah, it's not much of a trail, and it's even harder to see it on the video here. There's just a little bit of a trail here. The deer just they ain't been over here much this year. Oh. So we'll leave that for a couple of weeks right there, and we'll go check the next one. Okay, so we were just down there in that bottom, set that camera up. We come up the main trail here, come up the trail, and he's got the chainsaw. We were using it to clean out the trail over that way. So this is the food plot, and it does not look like much, and I really don't think they're using it much, but we've got a camera set up right there. We're going to go check it next, and then after that one there's a camera set up right there. We're head over to that one. Okay, so this is the number 3 camera, and he just shut it off. He's going to pull the little SD card out of the side there. And I got 2 bags in my pocket. I got one that I got marked new, and that's the new cards. And then I got another baggie in my pocket, used. That way I don't mix them up out here in the woods. So he's going to put that one in there. So we got 4 cameras, but with 4 cameras, if you're going to leave them out in the woods, you need twice that many SD cards. Now he's going to dig out a new one. Stick it in there, and yeah, you got it the other way.
Yeah.
Make sure it's unlocked. Remember, it's got that little gray slide on the side up. Let me see. Yep, up. You're good. That's all right. Slide it in until it's all the way back. Okay.
Put it on tester?
Yeah, put it in the middle. We'll test it again. We'll make sure it's. Now walk back there. So he's got it in the setup or test position here. And he's gonna walk out there kind of like he's a deer and see if he'll be able to see that red light if it's blinking. It takes it a few seconds for it to kind of wake up.
There it goes.
Starting to blink?
Yep.
Still blinking?
Yep.
How far are you? You're only about 10 feet. Keep walking back. Okay, now, is it still blinking?
Nope.
That's pretty far. You're probably 40 feet at least. Take a step back this way, buddy.
There it goes.
Okay, so that's probably as far as the flash will really reach. I think the flash is only good for 40 yards on a full battery, or 40 feet on a full battery, so he's probably 30 feet there.
Alright, now let's turn it all the way up.
Now, since you got it on, you should be good, so go ahead and shut your door. Is it counting down? Oh, we didn't format that card.
Should we?
Yeah, we should. We're putting a new card in, and it's a brand new card. Now leave it in there, buddy. Since it's a brand new card, we're going to go back into the setup, and we're going to format it, just to make sure it records on it, okay? So to do that, here, I'll show you guys how we do that.
Well, no, don't want to hold it.
Okay, so we got to put it in the aim position. So we check the time. Time is, what's that say, 15:53? What time would that be? 3:53? That's about right. So we're okay with that. Now it's blinking. It wants to make sure, so we could change those right now if we wanted to. 12:23, that's the date. That's okay. 2018. And 15, I think that's the interval between taking the videos. That wants us to, that we could change that to video or take a picture. We're gonna leave that there. ID is number 3. This is the number 3 camera. The default settings, we want to leave that in no because default is pictures. And format, we want to do yes. So we click OK there. Okay, we're good. So now, since you checked it and the range is good and everything, okay, now it's counting down. So he's gonna go ahead and clip that closed.
All right.
That's all there is to it. So we're gonna go check the, let's see, we got number 4 and number 3. We're gonna go check number 2, which is right over there in that pile. Okay, well, we changed out the card on that one, formatted the new one. Got the old one in my pocket. We're gonna head on out of the food plot here then. And this fence, kind of odd. It's actually, it's a new fence that was supposed to be put up around this cemetery. There is a cemetery back here in the woods. You can see the little angel statue over there, and there's a few headstones. It's a unusual thing, be way back here off the road. But we're gonna head down this trail, and the last camera will be just over the peak of the hill there. We come out of the food plot up there, we come down the main trail here, and we would continue on down. There's a walk bridge for the cemetery, but right next to it I've got a culvert pipe laid in a creek where we can drive across it and stuff. But right there's the other camera, and it's on, there's a little bit of a trail goes across this hillside, kind of parallel with the creek, halfway up the hillside here. So he's already got the camera open, and we're going to change out the SD card, format the new one. And if you guys have noticed, again, I said it in my last video, but it's important to keep these cameras facing north or south. Don't face them east or west, so that way they don't pick you up. They won't pick up the sunrise and sunset so bad. Okay, well, the last camera, we did go ahead and move it. We put it, we kind of brought it back across the creek here, and there's a trail that runs along that ridge, and we've got it pointed directly at them as they're coming down this trail. So Yep, food plot is on up the trail, up there on top, and we're coming down. There's the truck right there. So I shot one right there a few years ago. It's one of the racks that I've got on the wall. So I know they used to use this trail anyhow. We'll see what that does in about 2 weeks. So let's get home, check these SD cards out. Hopefully we got something cool on them. All right, now we're gonna notice a few things. This deer noticed the camera, but she didn't freak out. I want you also to notice the flash is pretty good at night. The flash range, the sensitivity is pretty good. The trigger speed, you know, the deer are walking through and it's picking them up pretty quickly. It's not like you're seeing them after they've walked 30 feet away. Another deer checking the camera out, it's kind of a recurring thing. They notice it, they check it out. They typically spook a little bit, but they don't run off real hard. Daytime image quality is pretty good. This image quality is really bad on this one. It could have been extremely foggy. We had a few foggy nights that night. Decent buck here again, dark, but he notices it and he doesn't spook. So he hung out for a few minutes. This is only a selection of the videos. On this camera alone, we got 105 videos, and I picked through them and got the best ones for you guys to see here. Again, another little buck, but 2 o'clock in the morning. He sees the camera, checks it out, but he doesn't spook off hard. Now this one, you're going to notice, she gets right on top of the thing, kind of freaks her out. Mom stops. 2 little babies take off. Look at the time, 7:57, 8:42. They've calmed down and they're come back through. So they typically spook a little bit. They check it out. They don't like what they're sniffing, but they don't run off hard. Check out the steam coming off of this one. I guess it's that infrared sensor or whatever that's picking up, you know, the heat coming off these deer. This one here, kind of a weird knot on her neck. I don't know what happened there, but you know, kind of cool. And here's where the camera got bumped. Okay, next day, pretty good sensitivity on this. Little gray squirrel set it off. So pretty happy with these cameras so far. And another recurring thing, my nephew can't get enough of these cameras. Okay, camera 3 here, this is on the food plot. You see the camera 2 just tripped on. Now you wouldn't see that light with your naked eye, but because we're looking through the camera, you see it. And again, camera 3, we only picked up like 8 videos total. And we're looking at camera 2 across the way there. Now this is camera 2, picked up a raccoon there. Camera 2 got like 43 videos, and those deer there are the ones that tripped camera 3 before. So it's kind of weird we're seeing them from two different angles. Again, good quality, good sensitivity, good trigger speed. Caught that little squirrel. Here we go. Another deer sees it, but doesn't freak out. You know, he calmly walks away. I was kind of impressed with how far that deer was away that it picked it up. So, you know, pretty good sensitivity there. Squirrel sitting on top of the log here. You see a little bit of his bushy tail. This again was low light conditions. Camera wasn't using the flash because it was just light enough to not use the flash, but kind of dark enough where just crappy image quality. Again, big old doe, toughest ones in the woods to beat are them old does, but you know, she ain't freaking out. So decent little buck. He made it through. You know, all these deer, you know, they're in muzzleloader season, so they're making it through. That's a good thing to see. But again, you know, dark. Here's a little buck walking stiff-legged, and we can only assume that that's another little buck walking in there. December 23rd. Kind of interesting to see some aggression still. And there he is. He couldn't tell if these cameras were recording or not. That's why he's getting right down in there and waving his hands. He was looking for a little red light to come on, but it didn't. Okay, here we are, camera 1. Camera 1 got 38 videos. Again, the deer notice it. Pretty good quality. This was interesting. We didn't get very many deer on this camera. I don't think it wasn't picking them up. I just think the deer weren't there. But in this video, we see 2 does. There was one before them. Now we got this guy just a few minutes behind him. There's a deer on the hill, walks up the hill behind him, and there's 3 on the flat behind him. Now that was on the 19th. Here we are 4 days later. No more deer have come through. And he was the only buck we saw in the daylight out of 4 cameras over 2 weeks. All right, guys, so what are the takeaways from the video? The takeaways, what I got from the video was we had 196 videos altogether from those 4 cameras over 2 weeks. And of those 196 videos, we had 1 buck in the daylight. So, you know, I haven't been seeing deer over there, you know, prior to putting the cameras up. When I was hunting, I wasn't seeing deer, and that pretty well confirmed it. The bucks are moving through in the dark over there. It could be hunting pressure doing that. It probably is hunting pressure doing that. We're seeing a few of them. There were a few, you know, at least one that was would have been probably a shooter. So the property, yeah, it's got some stuff going on. This deer is one of them that came off of that property, though. This was that one that I shot along that ridge line that, you know, I kind of made mention of earlier. So the property itself, not great. Now, what can we say about the camera? Well, the camera, it's got a lot going for it. That model camera, I'm really happy with them. All 4 of them, of course, the same camera. Good image quality in the daylight and dark. Low light conditions, not great. But I don't think any camera, you know, in that transition period between daytime and dark, you know, I don't think any camera would do a very good job. Flash range, excellent flash range. I was really happy with, you know, how far I was able to see the deer. Some of those videos were foggy evenings, and you know, that flash through the fog is still going to be hard to see. Sensitivity was great. I didn't get a whole bunch of little critters going through there. I know there's a bunch of squirrels over there. I didn't get a whole bunch of squirrel videos, but I did get a few. So I think, you know, sensitivity was right on. Trigger speed, I could not be happier with the trigger speed on these cameras. I've had cameras with slow trigger speed, you know, where you see the back half of the deer as it's walking away, or you get a bunch of videos of nothing, and you got to wonder, was it a deer that was there that had already moved through and the camera didn't pick it up? On those videos that we got, we did get a few that were nothing, and you got to wonder, was it a slow trigger speed, or was it the way that the sunlight was coming through the trees? A few of those I think probably were. There were some of them where it seemed like I could see, you know, rays of sun coming through, and it made me wonder if that's what caused the video. But not an excessive amount, only a handful. I'm really happy with these cameras, guys. If you're looking for a cheap camera, I think you can't go wrong here. I've been surprised by them. And I'll tell you the other thing, that another big takeaway that kind of an epiphany for me was how much fun my nephews had checking these cameras. I guess I didn't realize how much kids could enjoy, you know, going out, putting the cameras out, the anticipation. Oh my gosh, the phone calls I was getting, you know, are we going to go check the cameras? When are we going to go check the cameras? You know, can I come over and pull my camera? The anticipation, I mean, they just couldn't wait to go out there. Now the one, you know, the younger boy, he's all giddy and happy, and, you know, he's the one you're seeing there on the camera. His older brother was kind of staying behind behind me. He wasn't real crazy about being on camera. But, you know, just difference in personality. But they were both very excited to see what we got on those SD cards. And we didn't even make it back home. We had to swing by my parents' house. Hey, let's stop at Grandpa's house. Let's look at these cards. Grandpa's going to want to see them too. So if for no other reason than that, you know, buy you some cheap cameras and make it an outdoor activity with the family. You know, put it behind the house. See what's out behind the house. You know, take it, heck, if you don't have any kind of a, you know, forest or anything behind your house, take it to a park. You know, I see a lot of folks on YouTube, they put these cameras, they'll kind of camouflage them in a little bit. They'll put them in a park or a public place just to see what's walking down those trails. You know, it's very interesting. But, you know, that'd be a great family activity. So, hope you guys like this video. If I helped you out at all, click that thumbs up button if you did like the video. And if you want to see more videos of me, you know, doing stuff like this or working on stuff out in the garage, click that subscribe button and you'll get to see those videos. Until the next video, guys, keep on tinkering.